All right, let's talk about OpenAI. If you've ever looked at their strategy and felt like it's just all over the place, well, you're not alone. But stick with me here, because we're going to decode their grand plan for 2026. And by the end of this, you'll see there's a single master key that unlocks every single move they make.
I mean, you've probably felt this, right? It's like whiplash. One minute, they're launching some fun new feature for ChatGPT. The next minute, they're talking about these super powerful, hyper-expensive models for big business. It can honestly feel like they're being pulled in a dozen different directions all at once.
So here's the absolute key to understanding all of it. OpenAI's moves aren't really being dictated by some simple, clean product roadmap. No, they're acting like a company that's dealing with one massive, defining constraint. And once you see this one limitation, every decision that seems kind of random suddenly just snaps into focus. And what is that one constraint? It's compute. Simple as that. We're talking about the raw processing power needed to train and run the world's most powerful AI. It is the single scarcest, most valuable resource they have. And this isn't just some small hurdle. It is the central problem that shapes their entire strategy.
Just think about it like this. There literally isn't enough computer horsepower to go around. Not enough to build the next-gen models and serve 1 billion free users and meet the insane demands of big business all at the same time. So every single move OpenAI makes is really a decision about how to spend this incredibly scarce resource.
This is a perfect way to picture the problem. Imagine OpenAI is an airline with a super popular flight, but only a few planes. Who gets the seat? Is it the consumer, the economy passenger who wants a cheap, fast, and easy flight? Or is it the enterprise client, the first-class passenger who demands premium quality and is willing to pay big bucks for it? And then you've got the investor who's just looking at the bottom line, making sure the whole airline is actually profitable.
And the demand from those first-class enterprise passengers? It's absolutely enormous. As Sam Altman himself put it, you have huge companies basically begging, saying, we can take 1 trillion of your tokens, which are just pieces of words, please give them to us. This isn't just a little bit of demand, it's a tidal wave, and OpenAI physically doesn't have the capacity to serve all of it. Okay, so this scarcity problem makes everything complicated, but it gets even crazier because OpenAI isn't just playing one game. They're trying to win 3 totally different chess matches all at the same time. And this is the real source of that strategic whiplash we all feel. So let's look at these 3 chessboards, right? On one board, they're a pure research lab with this grand mission to build AGI for the good of all humanity. On the second board, they're running a massive consumer app, just trying to keep 1 billion people engaged and happy. And on the third, they're trying to build these powerful, high-margin tools for the world's biggest companies. And this right here shows the fundamental conflict. The consumer product, ChatGPT, needs models that are fast and cheap to run. You got to optimize for engagement. But the enterprise product needs the exact opposite, the most powerful, highest quality models to deliver real business results. And companies will pay for that power. These 2 goals are constantly at odds with each other. So when you see OpenAI suddenly declare a code red to make ChatGPT better, it's because they're protecting their position on the consumer chessboard. Then, a few months later, they'll pivot hard back to enterprise. This constant shuffling of their scarce compute resources between these conflicting games is exactly why their strategy can feel so jarring from the outside. And the pressure on that consumer game is really starting to build. I mean, yeah, OpenAI has a huge lead, but look at the competition. In one recent period, Google's Gemini grew 6 times faster than ChatGPT. OpenAI has to keep fighting for users because, unlike Google or Apple, they don't own your phone or your web browser. So we have the compute throttle. But the wild success of the consumer product creates another, much more subtle problem. We can call it the human throttle. This number is just staggering. A recent survey found that 2/3 of people using AI have no idea how it actually works. They think it's just a fancy search engine, that it's just pulling answers from some giant database. And that misconception comes directly from their experience with simple consumer chatbots. And this creates what we can call the mental model trap. Because 1 billion people have now been trained to think of AI as a simple question and answer machine, they just can't imagine its true power. They're stuck in this shallow way of thinking, and it stops them from seeing AI's real potential as a partner for complex, serious work. And here's the problem. That consumer mindset doesn't just stay at home. People bring it to work with them. So when a company invests in a super powerful, expensive AI tool, what do employees do? They default to what they know. They use it to rewrite a few emails instead of delegating an entire project to it. And that is a huge problem for getting any real return on investment. And from a pure business standpoint, that consumer game is really tough.
Even with a billion users, only about 5% of them are actually willing to pay for a subscription. What that tells OpenAI is that the free consumer product is an amazing way to get their name out there, but it's not going to be their main profit engine.
So all of this leads us to their 2026 endgame. If the free consumer product isn't where the real money is, then what is? Well, let's go back to our airline analogy. It's the business class passengers, the enterprise customers, that make the whole airline profitable.
And this is the core of their strategy, what we can call the profit flywheel. Step 1, they build these incredibly powerful, high-margin delegation engines for big businesses. Step 2, they use the massive profits from those enterprise clients to fund everything else, both their moonshot AGI research and the free consumer product that keeps them in the public eye. This is their path to being profitable in the long run.
So what exactly is a delegation engine? The most important thing to know is that it's not a chatbot. This is a system where you can hand off a complex task, like analyze all this sales data and build me a forecast presentation, and then you just walk away. You come back later to a finished piece of work that's high quality, secure, and ready to go. That is the product that big companies will pay a huge premium for.
Okay, so that's the high-level corporate strategy. What in the world does this mean for you and for your job? Well, it means we all need to start consciously breaking free from that simple chatbot model.
This might be the single most important takeaway. Whatever AI tool your company uses by default, its interface, the way you interact with it, is going to define how everyone in your organization thinks about AI. It literally sets the ceiling for what your team believes is even possible.
And this really presents a clear choice for every business out there. Is AI just going to be another tool, something you use for quick questions and shallow tasks? Or is it going to become a new operating system for how you work, a platform where you delegate complex projects and get finished outcomes? The difference in productivity between those two is just immense.
You know, as we look ahead to 2026, this is probably the most important strategic question in all of tech. It's not just about who has the smartest model. It's about which company, which platform successfully builds and owns the delegate button for all professional work. And that leaves us with one last kind of provocative thought to chew on. As these delegation engines get more and more powerful, they're going to become the ultimate intern, fast, capable, ready for pretty much any task you throw at them. And the question we all need to start asking ourselves is, in a world like that, what does it even mean to be the manager?